Welcome, everybody, to Road to Ringside. I can't believe that we got such an amazing episode of Raw after WrestleMania. And you know what? If you think that this was better than WrestleMania, you're correct, because this was just incredible. There's so much to unpack here, guys. We're going to dive right in. So thank you so much for tuning into another edition of Road to Ringside. My name is Justin Winroth. And of course, folks, before the video starts, please hit the like button if you thought that this was better than WrestleMania 41. I know I did. This was just something that we absolutely needed, because people weren't too happy with night two, but ultimately like the video if you agree with my statement there. And of course, comment down below what your favorite match and or segment was, maybe your favorite heel turn that we saw tonight. Comment down below. I want to see what you guys think. I want to know what everyone's opinions are on what went down tonight. All right, guys, starting off the show, we got John Cena starting it all off, and he wins number 17 at WrestleMania 41, night two. It makes him the GOAT, guys. He is the greatest of all time. And you know what? John Cena doesn't give a damn if he's the greatest of all time. He is here to, in his words, ruin wrestling. We're still not quite sure what that means. He doesn't really go in depth on it, but you know what? As the 27 appearances that he made so clear he's got left, I'm sure we're going to figure it out and we'll be able to discuss it a little bit more in depth. But you know what? One segment in this promo that he was cutting that really stood out to me, he essentially told the crowd that he owes him an apology, okay? And the crowd starts chanting, "We are sorry. We are sorry." Well, John Cena misheard them. Maybe he didn't, but he misheard them, and he thought they were saying, "We aren't sorry." And John Cena just goes on a crazy tangent, and eventually the crowd starts booing him again. Now, John Cena is at this part in his heel turn where he completely doesn't care about a damn thing, like I've stated before, and he doesn't care about how the fans feel. He doesn't care if they're sorry. He doesn't care if they aren't sorry. And there was very little mention of Cody Rhodes. And guys, stick around to the video because I'm going to be discussing the possibilities of Cody Rhodes down the line here in my overall thoughts portion. So stick around. We'll talk about Cody Rhodes because I know they didn't talk about him at all on WWE Raw tonight. So we'll talk about Cody. But more on John Cena here. This is obviously something that we need to really, really dedicate our whole energy and time to, because John Cena is on a revolutionary run. He is our current undisputed champion. And you know what, guys? I love the part where he mentioned that this is the last time that we're going to be seeing the undisputed championship. He's taking it home with him, and he wants to be the very last one that holds that title, and the WWE can create a whole new one if they wanted. He stated that in his promo, and he also stated that on the Pat McAfee show when he was on there earlier. He wants to be the last one with this undisputed title because so many greats have held it, and he wants to be the last and final undisputed champ. And you know what? I don't hate it, but you know who does? Randy Orton, guys, because Randy Orton comes out and hits him with the sickest RKO ever. And this is obviously setting up Randy Orton versus John Cena at Backlash, which is May 10th. It's coming up. So we're going to be seeing John Cena and Randy Orton facing off at Backlash for that title. And here's my thoughts on that, guys. If there's anybody that John Cena is probably willing to drop that title to, it's Randy Orton. Randy Orton deserves it. And you know what? He is not too far off from becoming the GOAT himself. So this will be very interesting. I can't wait for this buildup between him and Randy. It is going to be so thrilling and so exciting. So we'll obviously see how this all plays out. But of course, we're going to be seeing them pretty soon. And if John Cena loses the title, Randy Orton, I would not be shocked. All right, moving on. We got Becky and Lyra versus Liv and Raquel for the women's tag team titles. And okay, I want to say this first and foremost. The Becky Lynch return seemed a little forced, okay? At WrestleMania 41, I was like, come on. Like, I'm not a huge Becky Lynch fan, guys. I'm going to be completely honest. She's just way too babyface for me and just way too wholesome in a sense. I can't explain it, but hold on. I know. We'll get there. We'll get there. Now, is Liv Morgan and Lyra Valkyria still on the table for an IC title shot? Because obviously Dom, which we'll talk about a little later, has the IC title, and then Liv Morgan also getting the IC title would be pretty, enticing. Be a cool little storyline that, her and her boyfriend have the same title in the company. So that'd be pretty cool. I want to see that happen. But guys, of course, besides Liv and Raquel actually taking the titles back and winning them for a fourth time, we get Becky Lynch turn heel on Lyra Valkyria. And I'll tell you what, this was absolutely not on my bingo card for Raw after WrestleMania. And the reason being was because I thought Lyra was going to be the one turning heel. because I think Lyra was the one that needed some depth in her character. She needed some dog in her. But you know what? They said, screw that. We're going to make Becky Lynch turn heel just like her husband did. So I loved this. All of a sudden, I'm a Becky Lynch fan again. There are so many heel turns that we are witnessing. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But guys, I wasn't so thrilled about her coming back into the WWE, and I knew the crowd was going to turn on her at some point, just like they did on Cody. You know, we're in a part of the WWE and a timeline in the WWE where everyone likes heels, and I think the company is realizing that. And we get Becky Lynch as a heel, and I'm excited for it, guys. This is going to be such a great time. I can't wait, and I hope we get Becky versus Lyra for that IC title. Because that would be really great. I want to see Becky Lynch really go on a fun heel run here. She deserves it. She is arguably one of the best women's wrestlers of all time. And I flipped so quick when she turned heel. I was like, okay, now we are cooking. But you know what? I think that they understood the assignment here. They knew that she was going to be getting booed out of the building at some point in time. So they said, screw it. Let's make it happen right now. So very excited to see where this goes and the end results. And of course, I hope we see a match at Backlash with Becky Lynch as a heel. All right, guys, we got the next segment coming up here, which was Eio Sky. She came out and delivered just a sweet, wholesome promo. I'm so glad that it's universally known in the WWE that you can't boo Eio Sky. Okay, you can't boo Eio Sky no matter what. She's just such a great performer. She's so nice. She's just such a great character. I love everything she does. And ultimately, I really didn't know what they had in mind for Eio. I was like, wow. So they gave Eio Sky this title. What do they have in mind for her? What's next? And wow, now I do. I know exactly what direction they're heading into here. Let me tell you what, when Stephanie Vaquer came out in this segment, my jaw was on the ground because I was like, wow, this is a big opportunity for not only Stephanie, but also for Eio, because they both have very similar styles of wrestling. And guys, this is what I'm leaning towards. All of the women in NXT have very similar styles in wrestling that really match up to Eio Sky's abilities. So I now understand what they're trying to prove here and what they're trying to do with Eio Sky. They're trying to make this NXT women's division become like Eio Sky, have the ability in the ring, and also they're trying to see who has the mic skills as well to match. So Stephanie Vaquer came out and they had an amazing technical match. We got two This Is Awesome chants during this match, and I loved every second of it. Stephanie Vaquer needs to be on the main roster today. She needs to drop that NXT women's title and get up on the main roster very, very soon, because her aura is unmatched. I mean, she came out with the utmost confidence. She came out in the ring with the utmost confidence. She is somebody that we're going to be watching out for a long, long time. So she came in, made the most of her moment. But of course, the match ended in a disruption, like it always does. Roxanne Perez decides to take out Stephanie Vaquer, and then ultimately the match ends in a disqualification. But not only does Roxanne Perez show her face, Julia shows her face, and then they just start a beatdown on both Eio and Stephanie. And then who else comes out besides Rhea Ripley? Rhea Ripley comes out and kind of holds it all down and saves Eio, it seems like. And then at a very, very split-second decision, Rhea decides to pick up the title and then just simply pass it off to Eio and say, hey, I'm going to come back for this at some point. I don't know if you are, Rhea. I really don't know if Rhea's going to be getting that title back anytime soon, because I think right now it makes much more sense for Eio Sky to be having this title and really trying to see who has the potential in this NXT women's division to come and take it. There's a lot more different athleticism that the women's division in NXT has compared to the main roster, in my opinion. So, of course, we got to watch out for someone like Lyra Valkyria as well. IC title currently. We got Chelsea Green, who's got the U.S. title. It's going to be a great time to see what this women's division does. It's been such a great ride, and it's only going to get better from here. So I'm very happy that Eio Sky retained because of situations like this. And moving on, we got the Jey Uso appreciation segment. And let me tell you guys, I'm not a huge fan of the Yeet. I'm really not, too pumped about the Yeet. But you know what? This was pretty lit. This first portion of it was very, very lit. And, he delivers a nice little cool promo, just basically saying he worked his ass off, and he did. He's been in the company for a long time, and he's getting his roses right now, which is great. I think he looks great as a heavyweight title holder. It makes sense, and I love the direction that they might be taking this in, because Sami Zayn is back. Sami Zayn came out, and I was really, really I was scared for the worst, guys. I thought that Sami Zayn was going to do a heel turn here, because Why not? This is the weekend of heel turns, and I thought Sami Zayn was going to turn on Jey Uso, but of course he doesn't. But I do suspect in the future that is going to happen. And then of course Jimmy also joins them, and they have a nice little bloodline Uso reunion, or Usi reunion, want to call it. But that was pretty cool. But my gosh, the crowd was yeeting very, very. There was a little bit too much yeeting, I think, and it got a little overblown. But you know what? It was a fun time, and it was great to see Jay get his roses. But guys, Sami Zayn, keep an eye out for Sami Zayn, and we'll see what happens. I think that'll be very, very fun. I think this is a great story that they can tell. And, you know, it's crazy that Jey Uso won the title over someone like Sami Zayn, who's been gunning for it for such a long time. So I think there's going to be a little bit of animosity built up there. I would suspect a heel turn very, very soon for Sami Zayn. All right, we got Gunther trying to kill Michael Cole and Pat McAfee. My God, I was so shocked coming out of commercial break. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't even expecting Gunther to be there because I thought he was going to be out for such a long time. It's what they made it sound like. But my gosh, he came out and he was pissed. And Michael Cole initially gets the guillotine, but Pat comes in, bops Gunther on the head, and Gunther now has Pat McAfee on the floor, and he looks like he's about to kill him. He got him in a guillotine for about good 2-3 minutes, so it got pretty bad. Pat McAfee had to be limped back to the doctor's room, and he was coughing. He couldn't even walk straight. It was intense. It was very intense. It was a cool segment. And why did Gunther do all this? Why did Gunther target Pat and Michael Cole? Obviously, I think it's because they were such big Jey Uso fans, and they were probably the easiest targets. I mean, that's just what it is, man. And of course, Michael Cole ends up saying, you know what, screw this. I'm going to go back out because that's what I do. You know, I'm not going to miss anything because of a bully, right? And of course, Joe Tessitore takes over for Pat McAfee, and then they end up talking about it into the Dominik Mysterio match, which we'll talk about next. So, you know, it's one of those things where I think there's a bigger story developing here. Are we going to see Pat McAfee get back in the ring? I hope so. You know, that'd be really cool. I'm an avid McAfee show listener, so that'd be pretty cool to see. And I would love to have an opportunity to watch Gunther take out his aggression on Pat McAfee as well. So, do we see Gunther soon, or is he going to be gone a while? I personally don't know. It seems like he might be gone for a while. They're probably going to announce some kind of suspension. I'm going to make the assumption that's what this was leading up for, a suspension type thing for Gunther. He's probably going to go home, take a little bit of a rest. It's what all world champions do. They take off for a little bit. So the fact he was even here tonight was pretty shocking, but what he did was pretty nuts. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm excited to see it. And of course, if we see Pat McAfee go up against Gunther, I will think that's great quality television as well. All right, we got the IC title match between Dom and Penta. And guys, I just want to say this. Dominik Mysterio was born to wrestle. He was born to be in the WWE. My goodness, is he a talent? I mean, is he such a talent? He's just got everything that you could possibly want in a heel wrestler, but ultimately everyone loves him now because he got that title. He truly, truly deserved it, and I loved every second of this match. You know, it was a great technical match, and Penta and Dominic have such similar styles in a sense, you know, both growing up with lucha backgrounds and whatnot. So it was a great match. And towards the end, Finn kind of helps out, it seems like. He kind of helps out Dom a little bit, but not really. He gets thrown into Dom, and then ultimately we do get to see Penta going up to cause a disruptance here. And then JD comes in and saves the day. JD McDonagh is back, and I'm so excited to have him back. Happy he's, you know, okay and healthy. But yeah, it's good to see JD McDonagh back. And you know what? The Judgment Day is one big happy family now because Dom ended up retaining the title. But is this going to play into a storyline that he needs help to win titles? What are we going to see from this? I'm not 100% certain. But guys, this was a great match, and this is a great segment. So Penta gets his first singles loss here in the whole WWE entirety. What's next for Dominik Mysterio? I'm not quite sure. I would like to kind of keep going with the Judgment Day thing, let that play out a little bit. But you know what? I do suspect a JD face turn here, and I would like to see JD go up against Dom for that IC title. But of course, that means the Judgment Day would have to break up in order for that to happen. But of course, I do want it to play out a little bit longer. I want them to be a family. I love the Judgment Day. I never want to break up. But of course, all good things must come to an end in the WWE, especially factions like that. All right, guys, moving on to the main event here, the Seth and Paul Heyman essentially an announcement, right? Or the first time we see them as a team together. Seth and Paul Heyman are now in cahoots. They're a team. And you know what? I freaking love it, man. I freaking love it. It's so great to see the wise man pairing up with Seth Rollins, because now Seth Rollins has a new rejuvenation. He's a completely different guy. He was getting booed out of the building. I love to see it. I hated Seth Rollins for the longest time, but you know what? Now I freaking love him. Seth Rollins is such an iconic guy, and he's going to be someone taking this company and putting it on his back, and I suspect he might be in conversation for the Universal, the Undisputed title as well. Now, CM Punk ends up entertaining Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman here in the middle of the segment and the promo, and CM Punk gets destroyed. CM Punk gets stomped. He goes after the wise man, tries to beat him up, and then Seth saves him. And then, yeah, again, the stomp happens. And then a little bit later, Seth goes to talk again, and then Roman Reigns comes out, and Roman Reigns joins the fun. He gets a spear off, and then he goes to spear the wise man. But before he can spear the wise man, guess who shows up? Bron freaking Breaker. Bron Breaker joins Team Rollins. That should be the headline for this Raw. I can't believe that happened. It's such a curveball, but it makes total sense. So we got Bron Breaker and Seth Rollins aligned with the wise man. And what happens next here? I do smell a tag team match, a potential here for that. And you know what? I did say in my last video that I think Seth and Roman are going to be teaming up some way, somehow. This makes a whole lot more sense now. So if we get a tag team bout between Bron Breakker, Seth Rollins, and Roman and CM Punk, this is the way it's going to go down. I'm not sure if we see that at something like Backlash, or if we see it more towards SummerSlam, but I would like a slow build for this. I want to keep seeing the interactions. I want to have a little bit more of a backstory as to why Paul Heyman decided to choose Seth Rollins. I want to have a little bit more of that. But yeah, this was incredible. It was such a great moment. And Bron Breakker, like I said, after he lost the IC title, I knew that he was on his way to greatness. And now he's literally wrestling with probably one of the three in the top 10. Roman, CM Punk, and Seth are in the top 10 for sure of greatest wrestlers of all time. And Bron Breakker is with some good company right now. So I'm excited about that. Can't wait to see what happens. All right, guys, overall thoughts on the show. Rusev makes his debut, and he ends up destroying Otis and Tozawa. And yeah, he's back in the WWE after 5 years. I still have to do a little bit more research on him. I'm kind of new to the game, so I'm not really too sure what his importance was back in the day. But again, I know he hasn't been in the WWE for about 5 years. So good to see him. It was a great entrance, and my God, is he a specimen. So I'm excited to see what kind of storylines he gets put into, and maybe he'll get a title shot pretty soon. Who knows? I'm pretty excited to see what happens with that. And now, guys, let's talk about Cody Rhodes for a couple minutes here. We have to ask ourselves, what does WWE do with Cody Rhodes? I have absolutely no idea, but I really do hope we see him on SmackDown. But, again, when someone loses their title, they tend to take some time off, and Cody ended up just walking straight to the bus after he lost his title right to a WrestleMania. So I am very concerned about the direction of Cody Rhodes. And I did post a TikTok about it. So go check out my TikTok, Road to Ringside at TikTok. I have a couple things that I'm not really too sure about with Cody. If he comes back as American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, people are not going to be pleased. They don't like Cody. We've treated Cody terribly, just as John Cena said, and John Cena predicted it. No matter what he does, he can be as clean cut as he possibly wants. We're in an era of WWE where we want heels. We want people to make bad decisions. We love rooting for the bad guy. And I think that a Cody heel turn is going to happen. If they want to have any sanctity, if they want to have any consistency with Cody Rhodes, he's going to have to turn heel. And I hate to say it, but it is what it is. So, of course, I hope we get some answers on SmackDown about that. I'm assuming we will, because Cody is a SmackDown guy technically. So I hope on SmackDown we get some answers. And what a ride the last 4 days have been, folks. I've had literally so much fun watching and just indulging WWE content, whether it's podcasts, videos, the actual PLEs and Raws and SmackDowns. It's been such a great time. I'm so grateful that WWE is coming to my life, and I know everyone watching this feels the exact same way that I do. And of course, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, comment on the video, and again, most importantly, subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Every subscription means a lot. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning into another edition of Road to Ringside. My name is Justin Winteroff. We'll talk about Raw. We'll talk about SmackDown. We'll talk about all the PLEs. But of course, SmackDown's coming up next. We'll do the review on that, and we'll talk. Have a great night.